Oh. And basically, a lot of rich, great history in New Japan.
Yes, indeed, there is. So I guess that brings us to move into New Japan Power Struggle. That's right, we're bringing you the results. And in our first match, we had no corner pads. King
King
of
of
Pro
Pro
Wrestling 2020 Championship match. I deciphered it on my own. I'm pretty smart.
Wrestling.
Seeing Toru Yano defeat Zack Sabre Jr. by countout, retaining his. Or wait, no, this is the championship finals, right?
No, it's not a finals. It's his championship.
Oh, it's a defense. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and then it will be, but it will be, what's the word I want to say? It's going to be restarted come 2021, so there's a good chance that Toru Yano could end the year as King of Pro Wrestling 2020 champion, undefeated.
That's awesome.
This was
How long
fun.
has he had it?
He's had it.
All year?
No, he won it. I'd say probably 4 months ago-ish.
Okay.
I'd have to look it up. But yeah, fun and entertaining if you like the Yano matches. If you want classic New Japan strong style, you're not gonna like this one, but it's fun. The very beginning is Yano bitching about the stipulation that he called for, where he's going around trying to put the corner pads back up and just throwing a fit. That was really good. He even has names for all four of them and stuff like that. He ends up throwing Zack Sabre. Well, he goes to throw Zack Sabre Jr. into the corners at the beginning. Zack catches himself, and then Yano tries to apologize and is like, "Let's just not throw each other in the corners at all. Let's have a gentleman's agreement. We don't throw each other in the corners." Well, of course that didn't work. But the best part of this one, I really love the end, because towards the end, they're on the outside. Zack is wrenching on Yano's knees, and he's got him through the ringside barricade. He got his legs through the ringside barricade, and he's putting on like a figure four through the barricade. But that's his mistake, because that's when Yano ends up untying Zack's shoelaces. And I thought he was going to end up hitting him with his own boot. The announcers are like, "Oh, he's going to make him wrestle with one boot." What he ends up doing is he ends up tying Zack Sabre Jr.'s shoes together. He tied the shoelaces together. And then when Zack Sabre breaks the hold at like the 17 count, 18 count-ish to go jump into the ring, he can't, because his shoes are tied with his legs through that barricade, and Yano jumps up and rolls in the ring at the last second and gets the win. So it was
That's
kind of a
awesome.
sneaky fun victory.
You don't get comedy like that from New Japan very often. That's great.
It is. It was really fun. I gave it a B. I thought it was a pretty good way to start the show, especially since there's no multi-man matches.
Yeah, such a weird card. We were talking about that last week.
So that was good. Then we got, then we go from silly to just badass with the never openweight championship. Pasty, we seen Shingo Takagi win the championship from Minoru Suzuki.
Hell yeah.
This one was just a badass match. It was badass. Shingo's focusing on Minoru's back, which was kind of the story throughout this whole match. Chair shots, Boston Crabs, doing everything he could. And you really seen some really good psychology that I wasn't expecting to see in this match, to be honest. But we ended up seeing Takagi end up kind of... I know you and I both voted for this, but whenever you're against Suzuki, it's like you never know what's going to happen. And he ended up making it work. And basically, if the last match was a typical Toru Yano comedy match, I mean, this was certainly a Minoru Suzuki match. It was just brawling, badass fighting, just a ton of slobber knocking.
Oh, hell yeah. What more could you ask for? Then our third match, Kazuchika Okada defeated Great Okan by submission, as predicted. Fat Mac, I'm doing good right now. 3 for 3. So are you.
You're kicking ass, buddy. You are kicking ass.
So are you.
That's true. Oh, you know what? The weirdest thing about this match was
you had a fucking good weekend. I'm just going to say that right off the bat.
Surprised me very much so.
To the Fat Mac.
I was really surprised, to be honest. It worked out for me.
Hell yeah.
But, yeah, the weird thing in this match was I kept getting confused when the announcers were talking because you got Okada and Okan, and half the time I wasn't sure which wrestler they were talking about because both they'd say Okada and they'd say Okan, and it sounded the same.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on. But it was great. This one, Okan was allowed to show off who he is, what he does. He had busted out all the Mongolian strike variations, the Mongolian chops, the screaming wild man, which is kind of a callback to the wrestler Killer Khan, and the announcers definitely pointed that over. They wanted to get that across, that he's kind of this generation's Killer Khan. Surprisingly, Okada never really had control of this match. It was just Great Okan being a power guy, being a beast the whole way. Every time Okada started to do something, Khan would counter out of it. Okada would put him in the money clip hold. Okan would take his claw out and put him in the claw. Basically up until the very end. And in the end, Okada ended up getting that money clip finisher on him again, and Okan did end up giving up verbally. But, yeah, I mean, as an Okada match, you could kind of say this was a lackluster match. But as a Great Okan showcase and building up the hype of Great Okan, I think this really worked. And then also with Ospreay there, ringside, this continued the whole Ospreay-Okada feud. Ospreay got up afterwards and was shit-talking Okada, and they ended up making a match for Wrestle Kingdom right there afterwards.
Oh, of course.
So that was kind of cool. So I thought this worked, you know. Like I said, for an Okada match, you were left kind of wanting more, but just to display Great Okan, I thought this really worked well.
Well, I'm hoping Okada can finally show me what Ospreay is all about at Wrestle Kingdom at the very least.
I'll tell you what, man, if he has a bad match against Okada, there is something wrong with Ospreay.
I just got this feeling Ospreay's no Kenny Omega, so we'll see.
Oh, then up next, Pasty, we had the IWGP United States Championship #1 contenders match. Kenta defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi. This was kind of surprising, especially because it was by submission.
So many submissions. So many non-pin finishes in this pay-per-view right off the bat. It's crazy.
Right? You know, I didn't notice it while I was watching it, but you're right. Yeah, we haven't had a pinfall yet. But this was a fun match. I mean, you knew you were going to get something good from Tanahashi and Kenta. You had the ace of pro wrestling Noah, you know, Kenta, and the ace of New Japan, Tanahashi. You know, when Tanahashi was at the top of New Japan was kind of when Kenta was at the top of Noah, and then ended up going to WWE and nothing happened.
He was not on top there.
No.
Maybe of the injury list.
But early on, a lot of back and forth, strike exchanges. Tanahashi ends up busting out an air guitar, and so Kenta ends up kicking him in the back of the head, and then he starts playing air bass. So Tanahashi ended up smacking Kenta around a little bit more, and then busted out his air guitar again. Kenta ended up hitting Tanahashi with the number one contender briefcase, which already has a hole in it from Tanahashi hitting Kenta with it. And after that, Kenta ends up busting out some air keyboard. So it was some fun stuff that you don't see a lot in a Tanahashi match, you know?
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. Very good ending sequence, though. He goes for a go to sleep attempt, countered by Tanahashi. Then Tanahashi went to try to get the high fly flow frog splash win. Didn't get that. Tanahashi ends up putting him in a Texas cloverleaf, but Kenta counters out of that into game over. Then Tanahashi countered out of that into another cloverleaf, and then with a well-positioned game over counter, Kenta got him smack dab in the middle of the ring, and Tanahashi gave up. And just the fact that just a couple of years ago, Minoru Suzuki had Tanahashi down in the holds, and Tanahashi would not submit. That's huge for Kenta. You know, Kenta's no Suzuki. So I loved this for two reasons. One, it adds to the narrative that Tanahashi isn't quite the ace that he once was. But it's got the ace of Noah submitting the ace of New Japan, and it kind of pushes that Kenta may just be getting better. He may not be, you know, Tanahashi's coming down from his career. Kenta may still be climbing up. I like this.
It's good stuff. A Mad Bullet Club got a point here. As last week, my whole mantra was fuck the Bullet Club. They're not my Bullet Club. Not anymore. But it's always good to see Kenta get a win.
Of course. You gotta love that.
Then we had the Wrestle Kingdom 15 contract match. Fucking Bullet Club. Jay White defeated Kota Ibushi. Fuck, what is happening? So is this another briefcase? That's my question.
No, this one is not this one's not a briefcase.
It's a clipboard.
But this was an okay match. This is probably
it's Jay White. It's not going to be great.
Surprisingly, this wasn't the worst match of the night. And we'll get to that, surprisingly.
Oh, ow. Ow.
But we did get some good wrestling in this one. They kind of played their greatest hits, so nothing really new. Ibushi, to me, seemed really a bit off, and he was kind of missing or barely connecting a lot of moves. He went for his middle rope springboard moonsault and didn't quite catch Jay. He was off-center on a drop kick once or twice. It just kind of felt haphazard. I'm not sure what was up with Ibushi. He just didn't seem like he was on his game. I was surprised with the ending. Not only did I not expect Jay White to win, but apparently they put on commentary, no one's ever lost their G1 Climax contract before in the history of the G1 Climax. So there's a notch for Jay White against. But, you know, he didn't do it on his own. He had Gato's interference. And at the very end, Switchblade got a roll-up pin, and he actually got his legs all the way up on the third rope for an illegal leverage that the ref did not see. So,
how do you miss that shit?
You know, this does kind of continue the story of Jay White being New Japan's ultimate opportunist. So that worked. But I gave this one a C+. And,
and it's like downhill from here.
It is depressingly so.
Oh, that hurts to say.
Because then, Pasty, we got the main event, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and Intercontinental Championship. Tetsuya Naito, holder of both championships, held on to them both again, defeating Evil. Pasty, I love both of these guys. Naito, my second favorite over there in New Japan. Evil, I'm a huge Evil fan. But God, this match was painful to watch. I cannot believe either Naito or Evil were in this match, let alone both of them. It should have been two other people. The only interesting part of this match, really, and this was a very overbooked match, were the guys who weren't actually in the match. We had Yujiro show up and attack Naito.